Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. My name's Elizabeth and we are going to be doing a succulent repotting today. So I have 2 succulents here, 2 pots, and some new soil to go ahead and get a whack at today. I've already unboxed everything, but everything in today's video is courtesy of the Next Gardener. So their soil, the plant, and the pots are all from the Next Gardener. So we're going to be repotting the succulents and using their soil to give it a test, and then also the pots that they offered. All of the products in today's video will be linked in the description down below. So definitely, if anything sparks your fancy, go check it out down there. So first let's just talk about, I already unpotted everything this morning, or unboxed everything this morning, because I wasn't sure if I was gonna have time to film today or not. First, I want to just show you the plants. So I am not good with plant names, nor did I look into them before this video, because I guess I didn't think about it. So all plant names will be on the screen if I'm able to find them. But the first plant is this one right here, and this is a string of dolphins. I know that just from looking at it. This is a string of dolphins. I do not know what the technical name is. But this guy came and he's got a couple of like wrinkly leaves in the center, some squished ends, a couple of dried up leaves, but honestly, considering he was shipped in the summer, that's not that bad, and it probably will be made better by a little bit of a watering, which I will do after the unboxing. Yeah, that's this guy. And that guy will be repotted into this beautiful little pot. So this pot came with a little saucer that fits it perfectly. And then you've got the pot, which here is the pattern. They come in multiple colors. This is like a pink version of terracotta. And on the one that I chose, it looks black in some of the photos, but it's like a dark tealy blue. It's the best way for me to describe it. I'm not sure if my camera is going to pick it up. But it's really pretty, and it's got a drainage hole. And then it also came with little like squishy things to put on the bottom. And this. So I have never used these before, but I am so excited for it. So what you do with these, if you're not familiar, is your pot that has that giant hole at the bottom, these are great for terracotta pots, is you put it in the pot. I mean, it's not gonna stay up because I've got it on the side, but you put it in front of the hole. That way when you dump soil in, the soil doesn't like siphon out through the bottom, filling this, making the surface not flat, you know, etc. But it still allows for water to drain because it itself has a ton of holes in it. So I love that. Now the tray came with these little squishies already on the bottom, so I don't really need them on there. I imagine therefore between the pot and the tray, but I'm not going to put them on. It's just personal preference, totally up to you, but I'm not going to put them on because I don't want these to get weird and nasty if like I overwater the plant and it fills the tray at all. So I'll just be careful when I set it down. But this little pot will house this little guy by the end of this video. So excited for that. All right, the second plant, the second succulent is this guy. He honestly looks 200 times better than the string of dolphins, and I think that's just the type of plant, but he's got tons of these little growths on the end, and it looks like not that long ago he had a couple of flowers that probably didn't love the trip. I'm probably going to pluck off the dried up crusty ones. I already plucked off one on accident earlier. But if you look really close to the plant, it's got like little pink tips and these little bubbles. Now it looks like there's quite a few of these little bubbles in the soil that are not attached to the plant. And also when I pulled them out of the pot, I lost a couple. Or pull them out of the box. I lost a couple, including a little growth end, which really sucks. But I'm going to be placing these on top of the soil, hoping that they'll grow a fuller plant anyways. And that guy is going to be potted into this pot, which is just a larger version of the one I just showed you. It looks exactly the same, just larger. So there's a close-up. And so that guy is going to hold this guy, plus all of the little pieces that got kind of fallen off in the shaking about, repotting, traveling, will be placed in the soil too. The soil that I intend to use is this, and it is the Professional Grower soil mix, and I believe it's their succulent mix. Yeah, their succulent and cactus mix. So that is this. Then they also sent me decorative rocks to put on top. I will possibly do this for the smaller plant. I am playing it by ear for the bigger plant, or the bigger pot, because I have all of those little ones that I want to get rooted, and I'm not sure if they will do that on a topper because I've never used a topper before. But I'm really excited, so let's just get to the potting. Actually, before I get to the potting, I did want to, because I unboxed these guys off camera, I did want to show you how they were packaged, because they were packaged really well. So if you are ordering plants from The Next Gardener, you know kind of what to expect. So they came in this box with all of this like fluff stuff, which is really nice. And with my move, I definitely plan on reusing that fluff stuff, so that's super awesome. And then each plant was in this like biodegradable sleeve. It's got hole on the big end where the leaves were and hole on this end, which is like the bottom of the pot. And I really didn't have a huge mess in the unboxing process at all. So now let's get to repotting. So first I'm going to repot the little guy. So we'll take him out of there, and I'm just going to put, because I probably about an inch of soil at the bottom. Okay, so what I see is just like a generic soil. Smells like soil, looks like soil. Show you what it looks like, if I can do that without making too much of a mess. And if you get like up close, it looks pretty like sandy, like it's almost got a little bit of peat in there, and I'm making assumptions. Yeah, and then there's some perlite in there. So we're gonna fill the pot to about an inch. It seems to be a really airy soil, which is good. Awesome, so I've got about an inch of soil in there. And with the little like thingy at the bottom, this is the only soil mess it made, and it's honestly like dust. It's nothing, so that's really cool. Love that. So I want to be careful. I don't want to pull off too many of these leaves on accident or stress it out too much. Oh wow. So its roots look really good. It's super dry, so it definitely needs water ASAP. And we only lost one leaf. So I'm not going to disrupt him at all. I do not want to disrupt him. They just traveled, and I'm not really looking to stress them out too much. I actually want to add just a little bit more soil underneath. Now the soil its root ball is like attached to is really dry and pretty like sturdy. I'm hoping that will loosen up once this guy gets watered. But if I start to notice the plant in a lot of stress, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and pull it out and see if I need to loosen up the roots. Because of how dry its root ball is, I am a little bit worried about rotting the roots if they're too dry. But it is a succulent, and while I've never had this specific succulent, I know that they can be fairly resilient to drought. All right, I have finished potting this guy up. We lost a couple of leaves in the process. I've got 4 here, and then I already put 2 back in the soil, but I'm just going to set these on top of the soil. If you're not familiar with succulents, if your leaves fall off, just set them on top of the soil. And honestly, I would normally say mist, but I have found with my succulents, you don't even necessarily have to mist them as long as you're like caring for your succulent normally, it'll either shrivel up and become nothing, or it will root. So that's really cool. Here is this guy. Love that. I tried not to pack the soil too much, but I also wanted to make sure that like all the little spots were filled so the roots had something to grow out into. But it's a really fluffy soil, so it'd be easy to overpack it, I think. And I don't want to do that because I don't want these guys to rot. But that is this guy, and if I put his little tray under him, that looks so cute. Yes, that looks so cute. Now we are going to do the big guy. Now I'm actually going to put more soil at the bottom because it's a bigger pot with a smaller root system. Now, something to be cautious of with pots too much larger than the plant that's in, like that you're putting in it, is you really don't want to overwater, because the more soil there is that the roots aren't using, or depending on the soil, you don't want to just like, the soil will hold the water more because there's more soil to hold the water, and these are succulents, so you don't want to overwater them. Okay, now I've filled up to maybe here-ish. I'm gonna pack it just a little bit in the center, but I'm not packing it around the edges. Now taking this guy out of the pot's gonna be treacherous because I know there's a ton of leaves just sitting in the soil. So I'm actually going to do it over the table, and I know that we're gonna have a lot of leaves to put in the soil. All right, yeah, this soil is more moist. We're losing leaves everywhere. This soil is more moist and the roots are less bound. So hopefully I didn't pot these guys into the wrong pots. But I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to set it right in. Okay, I'm actually going to add a little bit more soil. And we've already lost like 8 leaves. I do want to just reiterate that the losing of the leaves for this type of succulent is super normal. So I'm trying to be really careful. But I know he was probably shaken up a lot in shipping, because that's just like what happens when you ship plants or anything. But I don't want to make this guy's life any more stressful. Just setting him in there, and then I'm going to fill around him with soil. All right, so we lost these guys in the process, and there's one that like just kind of flopped into the soil. Some of these were just already sitting in the soil. Some of them actually fell off. But I'm gonna go and kind of place them around in the soil. Oop, except this one, which is mushed. Now, not all of these are going to root, but even if just a couple do, that's pretty successful in propagating your plant in its pot. And like I said, this guy I'm not going to put the topper on because of how many leaves fell out. However, I am probably going to put the topper in this other guy. And then this guy's going to be kind of watered. I'm probably going to trim off the flowers just to give it a better chance. All right, because there was only a couple of these guys' leaves that fell, I've never really used a topper, but I'm going to tuck those closer to the plant. And let's see what this looks like. Okay, there's another bag in the bag. This will give us an idea of what it looks like. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to go rinse this off in like a strainer before I put it on top of this plant. All right, I have rinsed the rocks. What I just did is poked holes in the bottom of the bag, because I do have this bag to put them into. Poked holes in the bottom of the bag and then ran water over them for a while. They definitely needed a rinse, so I recommend if you get the topper rocks, pebbles, to rinse them off, just like you would if you were using leca. Give you kind of an idea of what they look like. They're very small. And they come with all these like cool colors, like greens, reds. I wish it would focus on them. I might have to insert a different, yeah, I'll just insert a video. But they're blacks, reds, browns, whites, this like beautiful green color, some like tan colors and clear. I actually really, really enjoy the way this looks. So I'm going to top this little guy in it. And I'm just going to sprinkle it over. I've never done this before, so I don't really know what's a good way to do it. It does look very nice. Awesome, so I have done it now. I forgot about the stones when I was doing the depth of my soil, so I definitely recommend potting your soil just a little bit below the top of the pot. If you go to do that, definitely an error on my part. And I really don't think my camera is gonna pick up on it super well. But that's what it looks like. Super pretty. Super, super pretty. I actually really love this stone mix. Like, really love it. I'm definitely like, I did not need all of this, so I'm definitely going to probably use it in some other projects in the future because I just think it's so pretty. But yeah, that is my repotting. Here is the little guy. That's what he looks like. Super beautiful. And then here's this guy. Also super beautiful. Love that. Give you a close-up. These pots are gorgeous. All right, so let's talk my thoughts of all of these guys. Oh, by the way, before we talk my thoughts, I didn't think that there was like, I honestly didn't know what I was thinking, but in case you're wondering about this specific pebble mix, it is the Bonsai Gritty Mix. They also have Lava, White Onyx, Black Galaxy, May Phantom, probably pronouncing that wrong, Sandstone, Green Zeolite, and Red Pebbles. And so I think the Bonsai Gritty Mix is probably a little bit of all of those, but probably smaller, and I'm making guesses there, I do not know. So my thoughts on the packaging and the unboxing of it. While you guys didn't get to see that, I was very impressed with it. They were very well packaged, and there was little, like, if any, there was a little bit of like damage, but very little. So that was phenomenal. And the packaging for the pots was also phenomenal. The pot soil and the rocks, that was also phenomenal. But I know we're a little less concerned about that. The pots are absolutely beautiful. Now I was expecting it to be like the pinkish orange at the bottom and black detailing. The photos definitely make it look more black. So just keep that in mind, that it's not as black as it looks in the photo, and I can see how that would happen. It probably looks really black on the camera to you guys right now, but it's actually like a dark turquoisey greenish blue color. And so that's just something to keep note of. Doesn't really bother me at all, but it could bother somebody. I absolutely love the pattern. I mean, I picked it out, but I love the pattern. If you watched my last pot haul video, I think it's my last video. I love the juxtaposition of two different sized pots pairing together, not right next to each other, but on the same like wall or on the same shelf or in a similar, like maybe the same corner or something. I love that. I think that just is, I am not sure what happened, but my camera just like closed. So I don't know where it stopped recording, but I'm gonna pick up where I was. So this is future editing me, and I realized that the most important part of my final opinion, the plant and the soil, is what got lost when my camera just decided to go. So it's like almost a week later, and so I do have more of an opinion than I did in that video, so I'm just gonna share it now. So we'll first talk about the plants. The plants arrived beautifully. They adjusted so well. There was a little bit of like dried up leaves on the string of dolphins. However, honestly, I'm really not concerned, and it hasn't gotten any worse. And both of them have, in time, just really adjusted super well. The other one, whose name will be in this video, but I don't know it off the top of my head right now, with the pink tips, the bubbly one, that one has looked flawless since it arrived. Honestly, no changes, just always flawless. So that's really phenomenal. The plants, super, super impressed. The soil I was initially really concerned about because there was not a lot of chunks in it, and the mix that I usually use is very chunky, or if I make a mix, I make it chunky for my succulents or my more drought-tolerant plants. And so I wasn't too sure how I felt about it. However, it's really fluffy, and so for that reason I was willing to give it a shot. And I mean, it's been not even a week yet, but I have like fully watered the plants. They're not showing signs of any water issues. And honestly, the soil seems to be really well draining. So even though my initial concerns were the lack of chunk in it, it seems to be working really well. The two succulents really like it, so I'm overall really impressed. I'll need more time to know like for sure there isn't any water issues and that the soil is working. However, for the first week, honestly, really impressed, super phenomenal. And that's all you missed in my camera cutting out, so I will take it back to the rest of the video for you to close out. The only reason I didn't put the stones on this guy is because of all the leaves that fell off. I wanted them to be sitting directly on the soil. So I put the stones on this guy, and I think it's a beautiful addition to the top of a plant. I'm not familiar with like the reasoning behind it other than decorative. I've heard of it helping with pests, so maybe that's it. But as far as decorative, I think it looks really pretty. The stones are very pretty, and I honestly didn't think about it, but they match the pot really well. But I do definitely recommend rinsing them off well first because they were pretty dusty, and it's always just good practice to rinse off your leca, your stones, etc. But yeah, I'm overall really happy with the next gardener and all of the products they sent me. More time will tell with the soil, but I'm again cautiously hopeful. If anything in this video piques your interest at all, links will be in the description down below. Definitely check them out. The next gardener did a phenomenal job with their plants, and I imagine their plant care because they came cared well for. Their pots are absolutely beautiful. Soil's super fluffy, and it's honestly really convenient to be able to buy all of these things in the same place. So that's like really awesome that you can go in the same place to get all of these pieces, especially if you're new to plants and you don't have a huge collection and don't keep these things around like I do. So yeah, if you like this video, if you like succulents, if you're curious about the next gardener, if you want to learn more about anything houseplanty related, or just see me prepare for my upcoming move, definitely subscribe, like, and ring the bell, and I will see you next time.